Hello, I'm Nate, aka B2 Mutineer. I usually make guides and discussion videos about games I like. Since we're getting close to the end of 2024, I wanted to share with you my most anticipated games of 2025. 2024 was a disappointing year for me in gaming. I mostly just replayed older games instead of playing new ones, because the new releases were either bad or not up my alley. In contrast, it seems 2025 will be a huge year in terms of game releases, and from what I can tell, the games themselves also look to be very promising. Even though I've mostly talked about RPGs so far on the channel, you'll see that I enjoy a lot of other types of games too, especially management and strategy games. First up on the list, however, is an RPG, Avowed by Obsidian Entertainment. I've already mentioned that Avowed is my most anticipated RPG in a previous video, so that's why it's first on the list. I've always enjoyed the games that Obsidian makes. Fallout New Vegas and Pentiment are my particular faves from them, with The Outer Worlds also on the list of games I enjoy playing. Avowed is a first or third-person RPG set in the world of Aora, the setting of the Pillars of Eternity games. While I enjoyed the lore of Pillars, I personally couldn't finish Pillars 1 or 2 because of the gameplay. I'm not a fan of super complicated RPGs with long, drawn-out combat that is this way due to having an overcrowded UI with far too many buttons to press. For that same reason, plus others, I don't like Baldur's Gate 3, even though I can see why it's a great game. So for me, Avowed is absolutely a game to look forward to because it makes the world and characters of Aora accessible to me in a type of RPG I enjoy playing. And of course, it will have the usual Obsidian choice and consequence, which I'm a huge fan of. I've already pre-ordered the deluxe edition as an early birthday gift, and also to be able to play it early and make a quick review of it and share my thoughts with you as soon as possible. Before you ask, I don't care about any so-called controversies or random little things people on the internet like to get upset about. I only care about the game, and from all the gameplay I've seen of it, I already know it's going to be good. Avowed will release on February 18th. Next up is a small indie title that surprised me during the October Steam Next Fest, Abbey. It's a very cute management game where you oversee an abbey which makes its coin out of brewing and trading various types of ale. I played the demo and had a lot of fun, so I immediately wishlisted it. Initially, it was supposed to launch in December 2024, but the devs got a lot of useful feedback from the people who played the demo during Next Fest, so they decided to push the release a bit further to implement that feedback more thoroughly. It's slated to come out in the first quarter of 2025. Can't wait for this one. I'm for sure going to spend dozens of hours brewing ale and improving the abbey for my fermentines. Another huge release early in the year I'm excited for, unfortunately also in February, is Civilization 7. I'm slightly skeptical towards this one simply because from my previous experience with Civ 6, it was a bit too buggy when it initially released. It got much better later on after they fixed bugs and added more leaders, but I'm hoping Civ 7 will be better from the start. I've played many hundreds of hours, thousands combined, of Civ 4 and 6, either single player or with my partner who introduced me to Civilization 4 10 or so years ago. I likely won't have as much time to play Civ 7 during February, since once Avowed releases early I'll be hyper-focused on it. Civilization 7 releases on February 11th. 2 Point Museum will come out on March 4th. I loved 2 Point Hospital and 2 Point Campus, and I'll very likely also enjoy playing 2 Point Museum. Not sure that I want to buy it right away when it comes out, since I'll have other games to play already. If you don't know what the 2 Point series is, the best way I can explain it is that it's a funny and quirky management game in which you are overseeing a type of service building, a hospital, a university, and now a museum. But it's set in a satirical world where people have odd diseases and quirks, funny names, and study quite nonsensical subjects in school. It's tons of fun, and 2 Point Hospital itself is actually kind of a recreation of an older game, Theme Hospital, which was created by Bullfrog, and it has some of the same original devs who worked on that game actually. They apparently tried to regain the rights to that series from EA, but of course EA would rather hold on to dead franchises it doesn't do anything with instead of selling them. So 2 Point Studios created a new version of this weird and fun management game, and clearly they're doing great since they're already releasing a third one in the series. I'll definitely pick this one up eventually, but we'll probably do it later on in the year when there's a lull in releases for games I'm interested in, and hopefully also a sale. March 11th will see the release of Wanderstop, a narrative-focused cozy game about a former tournament fighter named Alta, who has retired to work at a tea shop and is fighting against the relaxing nature of her chores and struggling with burnout, inspired by the creator's own experience with healing from burnout. It's from the creator of the Stanley Parable, so I'm expecting really good quality writing. Plus, on top of the great story, there will be tea shop management gameplay, which sounds wonderful. No idea what to expect when it comes to Wanderstop, but I'm very intrigued and will likely buy it when it comes out because I'll be too curious to wait. Tiny Bookshop is yet another indie management game. In this one, you open a tiny bookshop attached to your car in a seaside town. You get to decorate your secondhand bookshop with various items and choose which books to stock and how to place them, and get to know the locals while running your shop. I don't expect this to be a super long experience, nor for it to be necessarily super replayable, but I played the demo during a Steam festival and enjoyed my time with it. I wish you could customize the titles and descriptions of the books you're selling so that you can come up with your own books, but the game is very charming anyway. Very soft-looking 3D art, which gives off the perfect cozy vibes. Not sure when it'll come out, but it's supposed to be sometime in 2025. Hellclock is an interesting roguelike that combines the idea of doing a longer ARPG campaign like in Diablo with roguelike gameplay and having limited time to complete runs. It's very on the nose with its Diablo inspiration since you literally delve down underneath a cathedral to battle all sorts of creatures, but I think that that's a great thing. In my opinion, we definitely need more Diablo or Diablo 2 inspired games. Plus, it has an interesting second inspiration, which is Brazil's War of Canudos, which the devs have given a dark fantasy twist to. I have to say that as an East European, we weren't really taught much about non-European history, so I'm looking forward to learning a bit more about Brazil's history, even if it's a fictionalized fantasy version of it. I find that fiction like this is a great starting point to make someone interested in reading up on more history, just like Pentiment was also a great game which made me go on multiple Wikipedia rabbit holes to learn about the early modern period. Hellclock is set to release sometime in the second quarter of 2025. I've already seen some gameplay videos of it from a playtest that I unfortunately didn't have time to participate in, and I think it looks great already. I don't think it's going to be on the level of Hades, which is my favorite roguelike, but I expect that it should be quite fun to get to the end of the story at least. I really enjoy the art style too. Finally, Obsidian isn't just releasing one RPG in 2025, but two. And I'm also very much looking forward to playing the second one, The Outer Worlds 2, which should release sometime in the second half of 2025. I enjoyed The Outer Worlds, though I have to admit I wished there was a bit more side content. The companion and side quests were my favorite parts of the game, and I felt like there could have been slightly more quests of that nature. I'm definitely far more excited about Avowed, but that's just because I enjoy fantasy more than sci-fi. Though I have to say that the tone and atmosphere of The Outer Worlds is amazing. I love that combination of darkness and humor. Not sure whether it will actually end up releasing in 2025, though fingers crossed everything goes well for the devs during the game's production. But whether it comes out in 2025 or 2026, I know I'll definitely enjoy playing it. There are a lot more games on my wishlist which are set to release in 2025, but I'm more lukewarm on them. Curious, but most of them don't have much in terms of gameplay footage, so I simply don't know enough to be excited. There might also be games leaving early access and releasing their 1.0 versions, but I'm not sure which early access titles will get to that point in 2025. I'm currently keeping my eye on Swordhaven: Iron Conspiracy by the Adam team behind Adam RPG, and Greedfall 2 by Spiders. Particularly intrigued by Greedfall 2 because it seems to have gone with a different, and in my opinion better, combat system similar to the one in Dragon Age Origins. I hated the combat in Greedfall 1. It actually made me stop playing the game after a few hours, but if Spiders manages to make this DAO-like combat feel good, and it also has a better story than the first game, I'll most likely love it. Can't say whether it's going to be good yet, so I'm holding off on buying it for now. I very rarely buy early access titles anyway, only buy them if they're already in a great place and fun to play, like Hades 2 or Against the Storm. Which games are you excited for in 2025? Are you interested in any of the ones I've mentioned? As I said, there seem to be a lot of games releasing in 2025, so I couldn't possibly be excited for all of them enough to include them in the video, but I'm curious to hear if there's other good games I might have missed. If you're looking forward to more videos and guides about games I like, such as the review and guides I'll be making for Avowed in February, do remember to subscribe, and leave a like and comment while you're at it too. They really help. A special thank you to my members who help keep this channel running. I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider joining the channel as a member to support me and unlock perks like early access to videos. This has been BJ Mutineer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.